I never thought the hands I once held to teach him how to walk would one day rise against me, my son, the same boy I prayed for, cried for, sacrificed everything for, slapped me 20 times, not once, not twice, 20. And yet that wasn't the hardest slap I ever received, because life slapped harder if you've ever been hurt by your own child, if you've ever given your heart and got pain in return. Stay till the end. This story isn't just about betrayal. It's about rebirth, comment still standing, if you've ever survived something that should have broken you. And please subscribe, because someone out there needs to hear that even after the deepest betrayal, you can still rise. I raised my son alone after his father passed away. He was only 8. I still remember the night I sat by the window, wondering how I'd feed him tomorrow, but every time he smiled, it gave me strength. I worked as a cleaner in the mornings, stitched clothes in the evenings, and sold scarves at night markets just to keep him in school. I skipped meals so he could have milk before bed. Every bruise on my hands felt worth it, because he was my purpose. He was my little boy, my reason to live. When he graduated and got his first job, I felt like I'd finally done something right. He came home with a cake, hugged me, and said, "Mom, we made it." Those 3 words felt like years of pain washing away, but over time things started changing. He got promotions, started meeting new people, people who looked down on simple lives. He'd mock my clothes, my old phone, the way I spoke. One night I made him biryani, his favorite. He looked at it and said, "Mom, stop doing this. You don't understand how the world works." That's when I realized success had stolen my son, not money, ego. It was raining that night, the kind of rain that carries bad memories. I was sitting on the sofa, waiting for him to come home. When he entered, his eyes were red from alcohol, from anger, maybe both. Slammed the door so hard the photo frame of his father fell to the floor. I rushed to pick it up and said softly, "Beta, calm down. What happened?" He snapped, "Don't call me Beta like I'm a child. You don't understand anything." Before I could say another word, he pushed the frame. The glass shattered. Then came the first slap. It burned like fire. The second one blurred my vision. By the 5th, I was shaking. By the 10th, I couldn't feel my face anymore. By the 20th, I realized I wasn't being hit by my son. I was being hit by every moment. I stayed silent to keep peace. Every time I put myself second for him. When he finally stopped, I stood there, broken, bleeding, silent. He stumbled into his room, slamming the door, and I whispered through tears, "You'll remember this pain one day, not mine, yours." At sunrise, I packed my things, a few clothes, my husband's photograph, a silver ring my son gave me as a child. No goodbyes, no tears, just silence. I left him a note on the counter. "Take care of yourself, son. I'll be okay." Then I walked out of the house I built with my own hands. It was raining again, soft this time, like the sky was crying with me. Walked for hours until my feet gave up. That night, I found shelter in a small women's home. The bed was cold. The air smelled of medicine and old paint. But for the first time in years, I could breathe. No shouting, no fear, no walking on eggshells. Just the sound of my own heartbeat. I stared at the ceiling and whispered, "Maybe this is what peace feels like, even when it hurts," because sometimes walking away isn't weakness. It's the beginning of strength. I started sewing again, at first just to survive, stitching old clothes for women who couldn't afford new ones. Then I began teaching them, widows, single mothers, women like me. We turned our pain into fabric, our tears into thread. We started selling what we made. Little by little, it became a business. I called it Second Stitch, because every broken woman deserves a second chance. The first time I earned enough to buy my own stove, I cried, not because it was new, but because it was mine. I didn't need to beg. I didn't need to be afraid. I was living on my own terms. Years Later, I opened a small shop, colorful fabrics, soft lights, laughter filling the air. Every woman who walked in carried a story like mine. We stitched pain into beauty, sorrow into survival, and that's how I found myself again, not as a mother, not as a widow, but as me. Then one rainy afternoon, there was a knock on my door. I opened it, and there he was, my son, but not the same man who once raised his hand against me. This one had hollow eyes, trembling lips, and a cracked voice. He said, "Mom, my wife left me. I lost my job. I have nothing." He fell to his knees, crying. I froze. My heart broke and healed at the same time. He whispered, "I'm sorry, Mom, life punished me." I placed my hand on his head and said, "No, son, life didn't punish you. It taught you, because when we forget who we are, life reminds us. When we hurt others, it mirrors that pain back, not out of cruelty, but out of balance. I don't hate him anymore. Hate only keeps you trapped." I forgave him, not because he deserved it, but because I deserve peace. The truth is, the day he slapped me was the day I stopped being weak. Sometimes the biggest wake-up call doesn't come from screams. It comes from silence, and when life slaps harder, it's not to destroy you. It's to remind you of your worth. So if you're watching this and someone has hurt you so deeply you don't even recognize yourself anymore, remember, this pain is temporary, but what you become after it, that's forever. Comment pain became my strength. Like this video if you believe karma. Never forget subscribe, because next time I'll tell you how I turned pain into purpose and how forgiveness became the loudest revenge I ever took.